All right, everyone. I've got 2 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Again, I'm Laura Greer with T-Call. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I will be hosting, today's PD coordinators webinar, and Krista Mosier is going to be our presenter. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Krista. Krista, please get us started.
All right. Again, thank you for being here. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Make sure you put your questions in the chat pod. Laura will be watching that for us. And so let's get started. Our regular agenda, we're going to do some T-Call announcements, updates from the PD centers, any new training and conferences and statewide events you need to know about. We're going to talk about our monthly webinar series, test training announcements, PD portal announcements, and also PD coordinator time. So let's get started with our professional development centers. And our first one is with Trey.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. The update that I have for you, I'm covering for Joan. She's on vacation. That I have for you guys is we are teaming up with Synergy Texas to present a series of 7 webinars over the hot topic of internationally trained professionals. The first session is Intake Protocol 1, as you can see on the screen, on August the 4th from 12 to 1:30. Carrie Rhodes of Restore Education will be our presenter. The first webinar will focus on recruiting and identifying internationally trained professionals. Carrie will review the staff involved in this process and steps that they take at Restore, and consideration will be given to how strategies differ in programs of varying sizes. Registration is available now in the PD portal, or coming soon. I think we discussed that it is open. If not, it will be there soon. And then, of course, you can see on September 15th, we'll have Intake Protocol 2. So we look forward to partnering with Synergy Texas, and we look forward to you guys attending our webinars.
Trey, excuse, I'm sorry. I had a question from one of my PD specialists. What exactly or who is Synergy Texas?
Synergy Texas is a group that, matter of fact, Denise Arand, who's on the call, can probably better explain it than I can. Not want to call her out.
She has a question.
Yes, I saw that.
I have a question too, but for Synergy Texas, there was a SIP group prior to Synergy Texas, and the SIP group, when there was a SIP group, which, specialized in the internationally trained professionals, that was through TWC, and TWC was the lead for that. After that, kind of the same people that were involved in SIP before, there was an opening for a networking for internationally trained professionals. And so a group of us got together, and Restore is the lead on that. So that's what Synergy Texas is. It's still a group of AEL providers that are interested in doing networking or teaching how to network for internationally trained professionals, whether it's for the students or the people that are serving them. So that's what Synergy Texas is. I don't know if that answers the question, but.
Yeah, that definitely helps. So I knew Restore Education was the lead, but I wasn't sure how it all fit with all of that.
Yeah, it's a good partnership that we are very happy to have in place. These webinars, as ITPs become a focus, we want to make sure that we are basically, I hate to say covering our bases, but covering our bases and making sure that our providers are able to have the proper information and our information that's going to help them move forward with their program. And Denise, to answer your question, Tracy answers, said it's entered in teams as state conference, CP-SYMP 22.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Krista.
you.
Oh, sorry, Trey.
No, you're good.
I was going to say, for the sake of the recording that's going to go in the portal afterwards, I was just going to read Denise's question real quick and then your answer as well. So Denise's question had been, on the Career Pathways Conference in Fort Worth, I did not see it entered in Teams. Looked like a few people had added their own version. Do I add this or is it somewhere else? And Tracy had confirmed, like you said, it's entered in Teams as State Conference CPSYMP 22, CP SIMP 22, and then the title of the session.
All
Back to you,
right.
Krista.
Thank you very much. Okay. Our next one is Ashley with our DEPDC.
Okay, all right. So who is your new favorite ally for the new program year? Krista,
Do you want answers first?
can you click enter, please?
Answer is
Okay. Thank you. The Distance Education Call Center should be your answer. We want to go ahead and go to the next slide. We want to help you to kick off your new program year. So just some ideas that people have already tried doing, and we do encourage you to do, is consider including the call center information. Especially as we're getting started with the new school years, new student orientation, flyers, social media, syllabus, learning management systems, or your website. Those are all great places to include the call center information. Feel free to use us. We are here, we are ready, we are open 7 days a week. So feel free to throw our number, our website out there for remote orientation, remote classes, students working on distance learning from home, questions about distance learning curriculum, or any other technical support needs that you may have or your students may have. And you can go to the next one.
all right. You have a question from Tiffany Lee. What if we give an assignment to the students to access you? Is that okay?
Of course, that's okay. Please do that. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that idea that maybe you do a little assignment and have them go explore the website. We did that in a DL Leads meeting recently. We did just kind of a little scavenger hunt of the website. And then it would be nice just for them to see how easy it is, to contact us. And this is our information. Call us 833-498-2255, or our website is txdistanceedhelp.com. We are now available via phone, email, chat. We have a Zoom room that is now on the website that you just go to the website, click on the Zoom room, it takes you straight to Zoom. So, no extra codes or anything else that you have to go through. And we also do have callback options. We also have coming soon, very soon, I think, new promotional items are coming soon that you'll be able to hand out to your students. I think we're working on bookmarks or something like that Deb is working on right now. And so that's what I thought, because we were just talking about that about an hour ago. And I don't know if Claudia's on this call or not, but she had to help me with the translations. So it's going to be English and Spanish. It's going to be English on one side, Spanish on the other side. That'll have their information. And we just encourage you to give us a call. We are here, we're open, and we're ready to work. That's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. Moving on to training, conferences, and statewide events. So Beth, take it away.
Thank you, Krista. Good afternoon, everyone. So we've got a lot going on right now. We're busy planning for the 2022 TWC AEL Fall Institute. So we want to make sure this is on everybody's calendar. And so September 19th will be pre-conference days. Those will be in person only. So we will not have a virtual option for the pre-conferences this year. We will have half a day, a morning, half a day set aside for PD coordinators. So we're going to talk a little bit about the content for that here in a little later in the webinar, but just make sure you get that on your calendar. And then the regular conference sessions will be the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. That 20 should be the 22nd. And there are kind of 4 strategies that all of the sessions fall under: digital literacy, board and partner alignment, instructional strategies, and leadership strategies. And I want to make sure and let you guys know that instructional strategies is not something that we've normally had. at the Fall Institute. So we have a lot of great sessions for instructors. So think about sharing this information out and have them come with us to the Sheraton at the Capitol in Austin. And just so you know, registration and hotel information should be out tomorrow. We have been working on it and it's almost ready to go. So that's that for that. Let me know if you have any questions.
All right. The next one is Paula with the Literacy Texas Conference,
Thank you,
right around
Krista.
the corner.
Yes, I'm going to start with the one on the left because that is in 2 weeks, little over 2 weeks. It's our 2022 Literacy Texas Conference right here in the heart of College Station. It's going to be a little vendor show and tell, I guess, on the 31st, which is Sunday night. And then the days of the conference is August 1st and 2nd. They do still have registration open. They have scholarships. A few people had to give back their scholarships because they couldn't attend. And I believe there's still some hotel rooms, and hotels are very, very cheap. So I just considered come on down to College Station, visiting us and going to the Literacy Texas Conference in a couple of weeks. Then I'm going to go to the middle of the screen because we've got two 2023 literacy symposiums already on the calendar. April 28th is a Friday, and that's where Lester Merriweather's Literacy Connects Us will be hosting a literacy symposium for faith-affiliated programs. That location hasn't been announced. They are in the Dallas area and probably will do a face-to-face in that Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then May 19th, Julie Laughlin and at Lubbock is having her South Plains Literacy Symposium. That's also on another Friday, and that's usually at the Texas Tech Alumni Center. All registrations for these literacy symposiums are free. They are primarily targeted to regions for those community-based organizations and volunteer AEL programs, but they're wide open to any program that's AEL funded, or if you have a partner that you might want to share this information with, it's a great resource for your PD. And then finally, bottom left, the 2023 Literacy Texas Conference will again be in College Station. These are tentative dates, July 31st for August 1st. And I say that because they're going to be talking next week about maybe setting up on Monday night and actually having the conference on Tuesday and Wednesday. If they do, it'll shift to August 1st through 3rd. And that's it for me. Thanks, Krista.
Thank you, Paula. All right, back to Beth.
All right, thank you. So just heads up, if you're starting to make plans for the fall, you got to go to the Fall Institute. You also have an opportunity to go to the National Pro Literacy Conference. It's going to be in San Antonio this year, October 3rd through the 5th. This is one that was canceled last year. I know several of us were excited to go, and it was canceled. So this is going to be a great conference. There's lots of wonderful sessions. I actually read proposals for this one. So there's some really good stuff. Pro Literacy is a national organization that tends to work with more of the volunteer agencies, but there's some wonderful sessions that are applicable to all of adult education. So I just wanted to highlight that, and we can go on to the next one. So just a heads up, we are going to have a TWC AEL business meeting August 11th, 2022. It's going to be a 3-hour session starting at 9 o'clock. And it's going to be led by our state director, Mahalia Baldini, and her staff to give us some information about the new program year, some policy updates. This is open to everyone. There won't be any PD credit for it, but it is virtual, and you can register right now in the PD portal for that. So we've got plenty of room. So come on down. And I think I have one last one, thinking about, again, some of the national opportunities. We wanted to highlight some new links courses. These are self-paced courses on the links website. That's links.ed.gov. These are free to take. You will get a certificate at the end that's got the number of hours that you participated. So there's one on teaching adult English language learners, and then 3 that ACP stands for Adult Career Pathways. And there are 3 different sessions. These were courses that have been around a while, but they've gotten a refresh And so brand new content. So just to encourage you to go and take advantage of some of those links courses. And that's it for me.
All right. Kind of as a backup on this and a future slide, Beth, would they have staff that take these links courses? Is this something that they need to send the spreadsheet to us?
Yes, we would.
Have put in Teams.
Yes, the links courses are some that we put in Teams. So you can fill out that conference spreadsheet and send it to me or Tracy Hendricks, and she and I will get it into Teams for you.
All right. Very good. Thank you. All right. Any questions on that in that section?
Krista,
Go ahead, Laura.
I was going to say, it's not so much a question, but there was a little bit of conversation about the DE PD Center marketing materials. And Krista says that they will be sending promotional items out to the programs, and that the programs do not need to contact us to make requests for those.
Correct. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right, well, let's move on to our monthly webinar series. So we're going to start off with Wendy with Manager Mondays.
Okay, hello, everybody. So the next Manager Monday is this Monday coming up, July 18th. And in that session, we'll have Elena Madrid and Ann Savino from TWC. They will be reviewing the updated new career pathways implementation plans. These are the survey tools that are in SurveyMonkey, but they have been updated, and the goal is more to use them as planning tools rather than simply filling them out for compliance. So please join us and have staff that are involved in that attend on Monday, July 18th. Next slide. And then for future planning after July, August 15th is the next one, and Dr. Rick Alvarado will be returning. And in that session, he will be discussing dealing with the tough stuff, which is essentially having those difficult conversations that you may encounter in your organization. So that'll be a good one for anybody in supervisory or leadership roles. And then in September, this one is not in the portal yet for registration, but TCAL is working on some new Teams trainings. And so we are going to review the new sessions that will be available starting in the fall. So it'll be myself, Krista, and Wayne, and we will talk about the 3 different trainings we are developing, and that would be available in the fall. So if you have anybody that you think might need some Teams training, this would be a good one to attend just to find out which face-to-face session they would want to or have in the future. Hope that makes sense. It's a lot of information, but Teams training review in September, something to look forward to. And then next slide. And then here's just some upcoming dates. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the chat. And quick little note, I have the next calendar year starting in January. Well, actually I have January filled, but all of the rest of the months are wide open. So if you have any topics that you would like to have covered in Manager Monday, please go ahead and send me an email. And that way I can have it up for consideration of a session during the next calendar year. And I'll put my email in the chat as well. Thank you, Krista.
All right. Thank you, Wendy. All right. Sharon Den asked, will PD credit be supplied for Teams training? And I'm going to defer to Beth, and we may have to ask Lori. I do believe these will be PD credit trainings.
Well, I can't for sure answer that question, Sharon, because they're not done. So part of it depends on, the actual content of the training, but we will confirm with Lori Slayton at TWC. It's a good question, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one that we haven't gotten to yet. So, all right. Teacher Tuesday. Next one is August 9th. The Adult Education Partnerships, leverage your local library. So Maria Freed who is a workforce development consultant at the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, will be discussing libraries and how we can use them for our adult ed programs. So that'll be a good one. And I don't know how many of you attended this past Teacher Tuesday with Mahalia. If you did not, you missed a good one. And so please stay tuned, keep your ears open for when it is in the PD portal. It was the 13 considerations with WIOA. So it was a very, very good session and very applicable for teachers and for administration. So I just want to throw a plug out for that one.
And Krista, if you don't mind me stepping in, it was a wonderful session. And she said this morning, she's going to be repeating it at the Literacy Texas conference.
That's right.
So if you want to see it live, check that session out because it was just very well done.
Yes. All right. And next is Dr. Escamilla.
Well, thank you, Krista. Just wanted to share that next week, July 20th, we have Victoria Hinojosa and Joseph Rodriguez. They're going to be talking about career exploration part 3. How do I get there? So in this session, presenters will demonstrate how to guide students to define a career path and utilize Workforce Solutions resources to assist with career exploration, job search, and to develop an action plan. And then August 17th, we have Liz Moya presenting safeguarding identity through digital literacy. So imagine with all the increase in technological applications and use of personal information, how vulnerable we are in securing our personal information and unaware of the hidden dangers. So there were 4.8 million identity thefts and credit card fraud reports to the FTC or Federal Trade Commission in 2020. And granted, this was in 2020. So resulting in 4.5 billion total loss. So join in on the session as we explore the signs and effects of identity theft, prevention strategies, and ways that we can teach our adult learners how to be those effective digital citizens, especially when they're applying for jobs and doing those workforce activities. So thank you so much. Thank you, Krista. Oh, one more, I believe.
Yep.
And here are our remaining dates. We have July 20th, and I think we could get those posted in the chat, but I just want to remind you of remaining dates and put those out there. We have some great sessions coming up. And I too, as Wendy, I have not fully filled the year, so I still have November and December. So if you have any ideas or recommendations for November and December, please contact me and my information will be provided shortly. So thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Beth, back to you.
All right, thank you. I'm filling in for Anne Marie today, who's taking a much needed vacation. So upcoming Tech and Tells, we'll have one on August 12th with Stella Vea. And the topic is building your core teaching, part 1. And CORE stands for Civics Online Reasoning. And this is a curriculum that comes out of Stanford University. So she's going to kind of do an overview there on the 12th. And then she's coming back on the 19th for part 2. We'll be digging in a little deeper. If you want to advance the slide there, Krista.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So anyway, part 1 and part 2. So the 12th and then the 19th. And then the next slide again is just listing out the dates for the remaining Tech and Tells through November 11th. And then one last slide. Again, with these webinar series, we always love entertaining your ideas of topics that you'd like to see or topics that you feel like would be beneficial for your staff. And all the monthly webinar staff are listed here on this slide. So feel free to reach out to them if you have a staff member who's doing great work in one of these areas, it's an opportunity for them and their professional growth.
Thank you, Beth. All righty. I did not see any other questions come in. Did you, Laura?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right, we're gonna press on to test trainings and Miss Tracy.
Hey, thank you, Krista. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, if you'll advance the slide, please, Krista, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Some of what I'm talking, in fact, almost everything I'm talking about will be kind of a repeat from the past couple of meetings, perhaps, but I want to remind you of several things that are very important as we kick off the new program year. Tier 1 test training is the responsibility now of the local programs. So we worked very hard last spring and early summer to provide training of trainer events for all of the testing tools. So we hope that your program took advantage of that and that you have a certified trainer. The only reason someone might not be certified would be if they took the Best Plus 2.0 training of trainers, because they have homework to do to follow up and complete. And if they will do their homework, Cal is they've got fully staffed. They're fully staffed now, and will grade their homework and their follow-up items that they have to do and get back with them. They've been doing, Cal's been responding very well, and so people are getting certified. So okay, just wanted to remind you all of that. We will be, and I'll talk about training of trainers in this slide. We don't have anything scheduled right now. However, we're going to be sending out a needs assessment survey in early August. So stay tuned for that, and please fill that out. And we're going to be asking if your program needs training of trainer events in the fall. So keep that in mind, look for that survey, and then we will plan our fall events based on the survey results. And if your program, has 5 or more staff who need the test administrator training and you need guidance, if you don't have a certified trainer, then contact your program, your PD specialist, contact them, and they can assist you with recommending some trainers that you could hire, trainers that would be willing to train other programs other than their own. So we will be planning some train the trainer events for you coming soon. The next slide, please. Okay, I know I've talked about this refresher thing. I feel like I'm just talking this to death, but I just want to say one more time that this is so important, and to discriminate between test administrator training refreshers and remote test training refreshers. Test administrator training refreshers. So there are 2 things. If your program does remote test training, then staff who do test administrator training, say for CASAS, do test administrator training for students. They will need, and they took an initial training 2 years ago, and now it's time for a refresher. They need to take the refresher training, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But if they also do remote test training, in addition to the test administrator training, they've got to also do a refresher every 2 years. And right now, if you'll go to the next slide, Krista, I'll show you the requirement is to retake the remote test training for all of the Best, TABE, and CASAS, whichever one applies to that staff member. Retake that remote test administration training in the PD portal. And this slide just shows you how to search for it. This is an example of TABE 1112. And the TABE 1112 remote administration training will also cover TABE Class C for the programs that use TABE Class C. It is a DRC product, and that will cover both. So I hope that makes sense, because that has been very confusing for a lot of programs, and understandably so. But there are two refreshers required if someone does test administrator training and remote test training.
Okay.
Or testing, rather. I'm sorry, I'm using that word training a lot. Okay.
All right, and
Good
I'm
question.
gonna kind of pause for a minute.
Okay.
Dr. Melton asked a question about, are these the best training? And Robin asked if she could clarify the question. Dr. Melton, if you want to unmute and ask your question, that would be fine. Just want to make sure we get your question answered.
Okay, I was just asking about the dates for the best training.
Okay, we don't have any dates right now. Our calendar's kind of clear right now. We did a bunch of trainings in the spring, and we will schedule some more for the fall based on the needs assessment survey that we'll send out in early August. So does that answer your question?
Okay, I thought I saw some dates before you put up the test administrators training.
Is this the slide you're thinking?
Okay, let me see. Okay, yes, okay.
Okay, yeah, there, no dates there, so.
Thanks for this information.
I do have a question regarding the test trainings. I'm at a new program. Hello, everyone. So
Hi.
my manager, she wants to retest all of our staff prior to the 2-year required retake. What is the advice on that? And can we wait until the 2 years, or do we have to do that?
No, if your program feels like your staff needs to have training, that is totally up to your staff. If you feel like they need the training again before the 2 years, that's perfectly fine. Is that answering your question?
Yes, I just wanted to get clarity because our staff just took it, I think, October of last year.
Okay.
And she's requesting to have it taken over
Okay.
in August, but
Okay.
there's some pushback, of course, but they don't need it. They can stay wait until the 2 years.
Yes, they could. And the refresher training is shorter most of the time. There's one exception to that, but usually a test administrator training is 3 to 6 hours in length. The refreshers are usually 3 hours. Well, they are 3 hours. So, but again, if the program feels like they need longer training and people need to be recalibrated, for example, that is totally up to the program and can happen anytime.
Okay, thank you so much for
As
that
needed.
information.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right. And there was also a question for those needing to take the remote test training for a refresher. Does the training need to be reset in the portal? And Robin Booth answered with yes, Carly, and that you request that through the PD portal at tamu.edu to get that refreshed, or
Hey,
reset.
Krista, I wanted to jump in. This
Right.
is Laura.
Yes.
So Tracy, isn't that what we made? And Beth,
Yes.
I think, isn't that what we made a new version of?
Yes.
And those are for the refreshers.
Mhm, mhm. Yes. So good point, Laura. I can explain it, or you can if you'd like.
I'm going to let you explain
Okay.
it, and I will put the titles in the chat pod.
Okay, great. Okay, so what Laura's talking about is there are some courses like goal setting and things that we reversion and add the year 22, 23 to it, so that when staff members take it again or take it a second time, it is for that year. So we've done this with all the remote test administrator trainings. So you don't have to request them. That was before July 1st. We hadn't reversioned them. I cannot talk today. I'm so sorry. This is silly. I had a cough drop in my mouth and I spit it out. That was part of the problem. We reversioned them. So starting this new program year, anyone who needs to retake it for a refresher, it will say the title and then 22, 23. So I hope that helps, Carly, because this is a new year, and if they end up deciding to take it again for some reason in the 22, 23, then you would need to ask for that to be reset. Okay. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any before we go on, or did you see one?
Well, Giselle Hardy has
Okay.
put in the chat pod a announcement or a question. Is there any program here that has a virtual Best Plus training happening soon and is open to other programs joining you? And so if you're doing a virtual Best Plus training, that you have some room for other people, please email her at the email in the chat.
Giselle, that is a brilliant idea to put that at the PD coordinator.
Yes.
Question. Perfect. Because we don't know, we don't know when y'all are having your local trainings. So we do get asked this, and Giselle had asked this question of us, Robin and I, we don't know when y'all are having local trainings. So that was a brilliant idea.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
And just to piggyback on that, if you have questions like that, email me, Krista, and I can put it out on the PD coordinator listserv, and that goes to all the PD coordinators. So if you have a request like that, that's part of the purpose of the listserv. So email me and I can get it out.
Perfect. Or you can always email your PD specialist as well. And
yes,
they can talk to Krista too. So, and Laura put the titles of all of the remote test training courses in the chat. And you can see we've got that for CASAS, Best Plus, and TABE 1112, which I mentioned would also work for TABE Class C if you're needing that. Okay, thanks, Laura, for doing that.
Tracy,
okay.
Excuse me one second. Just want to clarify. I had to take a phone call, but I heard goal setting mentioned. So just want to make sure if you could please repeat what you said about goal setting and if there were any changes there between goal setting and the attunement.
Oh, okay. Now I just used that as an example. So I'm not the best person. Great. I'm not the best person to answer that question. That just came to my mind first. Okay. Is anyone else able to answer that better than I, or shall we wait?
Yeah, if there were no changes to goal setting and the attunement, then I'm fine. I just didn't know if something else was introduced and I missed it.
No, there were no changes.
No, okay. And sorry, that was just the first thing that popped in my head.
No, thank you.
Okay, and I'm thinking better since I threw that cough drop out of my mouth. Sorry about all of that. Okay, here we go. So I did want to mention, if you did not know, that we do have a new AEL testing guide for 22-23, which is on the website, TWC website, on the TCAL website, any place we've always had the testing guide link. It's available. So please take note of that. There are not a lot of changes in there, but it is important for everyone in the program to note this, because your programs are responsible to be compliant to the guide. I will say that there was some verbiage added to this guide about electronic documentation of tests and scoring and that kind of thing, whereas before had been overlooked. We had a lot about paper. There was a lot about paper test storage and that kind of thing. So there's some guidance in there about that. But if you go to the guide, it will, I believe at the end, there's an appendix that does let you know what changes were made to the testing guide. So I just wanted to bring that up, and thank you, Wendy, for posting that link. So the next slide, and within that guide, of course, is the approved test training chart, which I know I talk about a lot, but it's just really important. And again, we really want your programs to be in compliance with test training so that if your program gets monitored, you guys have got the correct documentation and everything that you need. And so I want to talk about, in specifically CASAS right now. And you can go to the chart and let's see, I can post that in the chat and I can do that in a minute, or perhaps Wendy can do that for me. But I want to talk about CASAS because this has been pretty confusing. A lot of programs have moved to CASAS this year or are using all three testing tools, which is perfectly fine. But with CASAS, I just want to mention that CASAS does have training modules online. But for Texas, and as you can see by the chart here, anyone who is initially trained to administer CASAS exam to students needs to go through the Texas style CASAS modules. Okay, so this is where you see on this chart, Texas style CASAS. It's a minimum of 3 hours of training. Now there are 4 modules, and on the chart, and I just got a kind of a snippet of this chart up here, but on the chart, there are the 4 modules listed, and it depends on what your program needs are. If you're doing e-testing, then you just may need modules 1. Everyone has to have module 1 and module 2. If you're doing paper, you may just need module 1 and module 3. And if you're doing both of them, then you need modules 1, 2, and 3. And modules 4 is about pulling reports, and the reports are really nice reports. So it's really recommended for this module as well. But a test administrator must at least have a minimum of 3 hours of the CASAS training modules. It can be more than that, not 6 hours. Well, it would be 6 hours if you did all for 6 hours is fine. It just needs to be a minimum of 3. Now, for the refresher guidance for CASAS in particular on the chart, and this is just a snippet also of what is available to take for CASAS refresher. The training can be taken, the refresher can be taken on the CASAS website. You see the address there. It is up to the staff member, the test administrator, what they think they might need to take for the refresher, or perhaps the PD coordinator of the program can decide, what you think the test administrator might need to take as refresher guidance. And again, it should be a minimum of 3 documented hours. All of the online courses with CASAS are about an hour and a half. So 2 of them would need to be taken. So that's when programs or staff members can go onto the CASAS website and take the training for CASAS refresher, not initial CASAS training. Okay. And I hope that makes sense, because for the Texas style CASAS, CASAS has allowed our state to add some practice modules with the e-tests in particular, to add time to go into their demo and practice. And that doesn't happen with the online version. So we feel like this better helps test administrators know how to do e-tests in particular, and even the reports. We do a little more with pulling the reports and what that looks like. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that in a little bit in depth. I know that took a little bit of time, but just if there are any questions ever about approved test trainings, what counts, what doesn't, I would first recommend you go to this chart and look at it. And of course, all of the testing tools are on this chart. This is just the CASAS. If you have questions beyond that, feel free to ask your PD specialist. And then Robin Booth and I are kind of your statewide gurus, I guess, with TCAL, who know all the ins and outs about test training. So feel free to contact us. And I believe that's it. Thank you, Krista.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tracy. So we'll pause a minute for questions. I'm gonna go ahead and press on. If you do have questions, we could put them in there. Katie, you are up.
Howdy, everyone. Sorry, I was trying to find my mute button. Okay, so this month we have 4 new courses published in the PD portal: TWC Monitoring Information Session, QAPA Support, Tech Intel. We actually have 2 Tech Intels: Tech Intel, GeoGebra, Exploring Calculator and Lesson Resources; Teacher Tuesday, Developing Digital Literacy and Resiliency in ESL Classes; and the last one, Tech Intel, Visual Discussions and Debates with, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Kielo.
I think it's Kayalo.
Okay, I was close. But those are the 4 we have. We are continuing to update our courses, and we'll continue to publish new ones every month. I forgot about this one. This one is actually just in there as a gentle reminder that we have amazing PDFs, instructional PDFs with lots of little tips and tricks, but also we have videos that have been created on how to run reports and what do these buttons mean, viewing transcripts and certificates, pulling certificates of completions for staff, communicating with others in the field by using Connect Communities, and also assigned training. Knowing the PD portal, we have it works slightly different, and so we like to provide resources for you. So please use these resources. You can scan them using your device and pull up our little Wakelet website that has the information, or it's also in the chat pod. But if you have any questions on how to do any of these things, please reach out to Laura or myself.
All right. I will go ahead and speak to this next one, at least the first half of it. So as was alluded to earlier, we have some annual courses that get reversioned each program year. So with the beginning of the 22-23 program year, we have a quote unquote new version of PII, that's personally identifiable information, goal-driven learning attunement, and understanding principles of adult learning. And these, we have not really done anything with the content in these. We just know that those are courses that a lot of programs have their staff members take each year, kind of for local compliance or expectations. And so instead of having to go through the trouble of reassigning and opening them back up, we just make a new version for the new program year. We did speak a little bit to the test administrator refreshers earlier. We have Best Plus, CASAS, and some TABE 11-12, which also, as Tracy said, covers TABE Class E. We made those into program 2022-2023 program year versions as well. Tracy, do we have anything else to say about those at this time, or did we pretty much cover it earlier?
I think we covered it.
I think we did too.
Yeah.
Good deal. So those are there. You can assign them. You can tell your folks to go find them and request them. They are ready for the taking.
All right. Thank you, Laura. One more for you.
Yep. And then kind of along that same vein, with each program year, so we're continuously pulling down courses that are outdated or just glitchy beyond repair, and putting new courses up in the portal each time that something goes through post-production and is ready for someone to view online. So our list of courses that are available, online courses, so asynchronous online courses, our list of what's available, it changes. I don't know that I would go so far as to say day to day, but possibly week to week. So just a best practice recommendation is, before you require or recommend for staff to take a certain list of courses or certain specific courses, double check the PD portal, either use the global search or go into the PD portal and run that available online curricula report to ensure that they're still in the portal. We do get a number of emails from time to time that will say, well, my program director or my program coordinator said I need to take this course. And well, it turns out that course was deactivated 2 weeks ago or something like that. And so I'm going to put some resources in the chat pod that are going to help with information on just kind of how to use the global search, but then also reiterating that resource we shared a few minutes ago about the supervisory Wakelet. And I think I have one more, Krista. Oh, sorry.
Is that it?
This is it. Yep. This is my
okay.
last one. So every year the TCall team is responsible for putting the new, putting all of the online courses in the PD portal into Teams so that y'all can go attach your folks to them as they complete those courses in the PD portal. As soon as Teams is opened up by TWC, give us about a week or so at least to get all of those courses entered in. I think I ran the report last week and it's upwards of about 200 courses that we need to put into Teams. Once we have them entered into Teams, we promise we will send out an email announcement letting y'all know that you are, that they are in there and they are ready for y'all to start attaching folks to. So just patience, please. We're waiting on TWC and then we will get our hustle on as soon as the new program year has opened up. That's all I got.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to press on. This is the same slide that you've seen many times. Again, please do not put state conferences or national conferences, anything like that into Teams. Please talk to your PD specialist, get the spreadsheet and send that in to us. Just like Denise's question at the very beginning, she saw several other ways that it was put in, and it gets very confusing for everyone if you or your data entry people just put in these conferences. So please, again, please try not to do that. And if you have any questions, contact your PD specialist and we'll help you with getting those into Teams.
Can I make one comment on that one, Krista?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Beth. So the other thing about this is just to kind of pay attention to your staff and to your sub providers. So we had a pretty good run of these forms right before the end of the fiscal year, which I understand, I get it, but it does put a little bit more of a burden on us to try and get them all entered. So if you have a conference in November, how about we have the form in December, not in June? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. And I know we've got 6 minutes left and we have a lot of things to cover. So I'm going to go fairly quick here with the PD coordinator time. So Beth mentioned a while ago about the Fall Institute PD coordinators pre-conference. And as always, we like to pull your ideas and thoughts as the PD coordinators, what you would like to see, hear, and do. But so if you wanted to put anything in the chat pod that you know of right off the top of your head, if not, just email me and we will take any ideas and thoughts into consideration. And remember that the pre-conference is not being live streamed. So we need to see your faces there in Austin. So please let me know if you have any ideas or thoughts of what you'd like to have happen at the pre-conference. All right. Also, because this is the beginning of the year, just wanted to remind everyone about session registration and attendance policy. We're finally getting more face-to-face sessions, which are fantastic. But they're just as a reminder that if you're having an in-person session, the registration closes 2 days in advance. If the registration is full, you are placed on a waiting list and will receive an email if space becomes available. Walk-ins are allowed at a trainer's discretion. So if you are hosting a session and you've capped it at 20, your trainer is ready for 20 people max, and all of a sudden 6 people walk in, it is the trainer's choice whether or not they accept those 6 extra people because of handouts and materials and just capacity. So please keep that in mind. Also, if 5 people have not registered 5 days in advance, we can open it to the state with we will talk to you as the PD coordinator. We don't just arbitrarily do that, but we may open it to the state to see if we can fill some seats. And if there's still less than 5, 3 days before the training, we may cancel this session. And again, this is not done arbitrarily. We'll be in complete communication with that. And then for virtual sessions, again, you'll receive a confirmation email. If you don't get an email, please contact the PD portal to find out what happened to your registration. Make sure that your training is on your transcript. If the training is full again, you will be placed on a waiting list. If you receive you'll receive an email that you've been added to the active participant list. If you are unable to attend, please withdraw from the training. And as a PD coordinator, if you're not sure how to withdraw somebody, contact your PD specialist. That's part of what we're here for. But there are some on the instructions on the wakelet from the PD portal. It shows how to withdraw people from the training. All right. Please note you do not have a seat at the training if you are on the waiting list. And just like the face-to-face sessions, if 5 people have not registered 3 days in advance, we may possibly open it up to the state. And if there's less than 5, 24 hours, we may cancel that session. So these are just some things to keep in mind as you are thinking of your PD for this coming year, and making sure that you give us the right numbers to cap the capacity at, but also what we do on this side as far as attendance goes. And that document is in the chat pod if you would like it. And then one last thing, this was brought up today at the biweekly call. The PD plan is around the corner again. Due date is October 15th. There's a little bit of a difference. The program support specialists with TWC and the PD specialists are going to be working closer together this year and using that detailed program review template that all the programs are working on and having due, I think, July 20th. So we are going to be working together and using that as a basis for this year's recommendations, along with what's the same, which is we will, as your PD specialist, we're still going to work with you as the PD coordinator. Get your ideas and thoughts based on data, goals, and conversations with your program, and we will always be there to assist you as we complete that PD plan. So just putting that back on your radar. I know it's only July, but October will be here soon. So, all right, and I am at 2:59. So if there's any questions, concerns, let us know. Our next session will be August 11th, next PD coordinator webinar. So I hope to see you there. Oh, and just as a quick announcement, we will be closed tomorrow, T-Call. We are doing a staff development day. So please, if you try to get a hold of anybody at T-Call tomorrow, you will not reach anyone. So emails, PD portal requests and such will be fulfilled starting on Monday. All right. And then like us on Facebook. And I think that is it. Anything else? Feel like I hit a marathon there at the end.
I haven't seen anything else come in, Krista.
All right. Well, y'all stay cool. Hope you get some rain and we will see you next time.